ranking all 9 Quentin Tarantino movies. Hi, thank you for tuning into the Tom Patelson Show, where I'm ranking all 9 Quentin Tarantino movies. I've got a bit of a head cold. Sorry about that if my nose is stuffy and it sounds kind of weird. When I get that deep voice, I immediately go to my commercial auditions. It's like Dodge Ram. It's like it's that deep kind of thing going on. Yeah, all 9 Quentin Tarantino movies, and I say 9 instead of 10 because he views Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 as a single piece of work, as a single art piece. So I do the same when it comes time for my ranking them. Now, these are the order that I'm putting them in is the order that I like them. The order that I want to watch them, the order that I thought they were fun, that I enjoy the movies. I'm not doing them by how impactful I think they are or how important they are as pieces of work. These are just my picks, and I know you've got yours too, and I want to chime in on the comments, what's your number 1 and what's last? What's your number 9? I would really love to see that kind of stuff because everyone has different opinions. But even the 9th film is a great movie. I put it last for whatever reason. Yeah. And why Quentin Tarantino? Why am I doing it his? Because I will eventually talk about Spielberg and Martin Scorsese and others, but Quentin Tarantino, I love his dialogue. Quentin Tarantino's dialogue is second to none for me, and I fell in love with his writing ever since the first movie I saw of his. And yeah, but we'll get to that on the countdown. So let's jump right in. Number 9 from 2015 is The Hateful Eight, which is a dialogue-heavy shot in one-room, suspense-laden Western with a massive cast, which has become one of Quentin Tarantino's strong points, is everybody wants to work with him, so he gets everybody he wants, and you get the return of a lot of characters and a lot of people. Samuel L. Jackson, of course, for one, and Kurt Russell now has been in many of his movies, and I love Kurt Russell. The score, the musical score by Ennio Morricone, who's famous for The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and The Untouchables, most notably for me. I love the beginning opening crawl for The Untouchables. It's a great piece of music. The Hateful Eight. It's a story about villains. Now, normally his story will have heroes and villains, sometimes just heroes, sometimes just villains, and sometimes none. Sometimes they're just people. The Hateful Eight has nothing but villains in it, and it didn't grab me as much as the rest. It's still a wonderful piece of work, and but yeah, it's all villains. It's all villains all the time. So yeah, The Hateful Eight is number 9. Number 8 comes from 2007, part of a double feature called Grindhouse, where he paired up his movie with Robert Rodriguez's Planet Terror, and this is Death Proof. Death Proof, Quentin Tarantino has said in numerous interviews, is his worst movie, and it's still pretty good. It's still pretty good. It's making fun of the genre while honoring the Grindhouse genre. It's a story about a guy who kills people by putting them in his car, played by Kurt Russell, stuntman Mike, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous on a certain level, but it's still kind of fun and entertaining, and the reason you should watch Death Proof, the reason is the car crash. The car crash scene. Holy crap. That is amazing. The Death Proof car crash scene. Watch it for that. Number 8 from 2007 is Death Proof. Number 7 from 1992 is Reservoir Dogs. Now, a lot of people are shouting at the screen right now because I know Reservoir Dogs is one of your favorites. Again, no disrespect, it's great. I love it. Now, Quentin Tarantino, as a fan of the movies from the 1970s, borrows a lot in homage to certain movies. The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, the original with Robert Shaw and Walter Matthau, has characters who are all dressed the same, the villains are all dressed the same, and they use code names for their names. Mr. Brown, Mr. White, Mr. Purple, Mr. Blue, etc., etc. So he borrows from that. Spike Lee does the same thing in his movie Inside Man, where they're all dressed the same, but they all use different versions of the word Steve. Steve, Stevie, Steven, Steve-O. Reservoir Dogs is great and intense and heavy. Yeah, the ear cutting scene. That's all anybody talks about is the ear cutting scene, because that's a heck of a thing. You know, that's a heck of a deal, the Michael Madsen scene. Reservoir Dogs. It's a great movie, and it falls on my list at number 7. Moving right along to number 6. Number 6 is a lot of people's number 1. I've talked to a lot of people, and they put this one high atop the list. I've got nothing but mad respect for that. From 2012, it is Django Unchained. Django Unchained is the first appearance on my countdown of Christoph Waltz, and it's the second time working with Quentin Tarantino. Also stars Jamie Foxx, Leonardo DiCaprio, as well as Samuel L. Jackson et al. It's a Western, and I love Westerns. I really, really do. I love Westerns. I'll do a whole Western list, and I love this one. It is, again, dialogue very heavy. This one has absolute heroes and villains, and when the heroes win, it is just so good. It is just so good. You feel that righteousness at the end, and it's just, yeah, it's heavy, it's deep, it's always funny, it's quirky, yeah. Number 6, Django Unchained. Fabulous. Number 5 is the first appearance of Christoph Waltz. It is Inglourious Basterds from 2009. Oh, Christoph Waltz is a fantastic actor and an amazing, cunning villain who you just love to see lose, and boy, does he ever lose. This one's got heroes and villains, absolute villains. Brad Pitt plays Aldo the Apache and his gang of bastards, the Bastards, whose job it is to kill Nazis. They're in the killing Nazi business, and business is a boomin'. And I believe this is the first time where Quentin Tarantino alters history. And it's the best time he alters history because he kills Hitler. I saw an interview with him when he makes the decision to just kill Hitler, and I'm like, why not? It's a movie. Do whatever you want. Change and rewrite history. He kills Hitler, and violence against the Nazis always feels good. It always feels good. Favorite scene in Inglourious Basterds for me is the scene leading up to, including, and the aftermath of what we'll refer to as the Mexican standoff scene with Michael Fassbender. It is so tense. It is so tense and wonderful. And you know it's all going to hit the fan, and then it does. Oh, the intensity of Inglourious Basterds. It's a great movie. It's a great movie. Number 4 was my introduction to Quentin Tarantino. Most of us were introduced by this. When all of my friends said, we have to go see this movie, we just got the screenplay from Samuel French. It is called Pulp Fiction from 1994. Now, to give you an idea what happened in 1994, here are some other movies from 1994. The Shawshank Redemption, Forrest Gump, Quiz Show, 4 Weddings and a Funeral, The Professional, True Lies, The Mask, Natural Born Killers. This is a hell of a year for movies. My goodness. Oh, some great movies came out in 1994. And then I went and saw Pulp Fiction, and my brain fell out. Like most of us, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. It's shot out of sequence. You don't know when things are happening. It is a day in the life of some extraordinary, ordinary people. This one's an all-villains movie, by the way. I don't think there's a hero in this. Bruce Willis, maybe. Butch and Fabian might be heroes, but basically it's just people trying to get by, doing some dastardly deeds, and a lot of murder. My goodness, Pulp Fiction. If you haven't seen it, see it now. See it first. See it before you see any other Quentin Tarantino movies. It is his seminal masterpiece. Pulp Fiction, and no, I don't know what's in the briefcase. That's the whole point, that we don't know what's in the briefcase, and any answer you give to what's in the briefcase is correct. Yeah, number 4, 1994's Pulp Fiction. And then there were 3. 3, 2, 1. These were difficult to place for me, but I am confident in my selections of what I enjoy. And number 3 comes from 2003 and 2004. It is Kill Bill, Volumes 1 and 2. I love these movies. I love Kill Bill 1 and 2. I think they're fantastic. It follows Uma Thurman as Beatrix Kiddo, also known as the Bride, as she is a former member of the Deadly Viper assassination squad, led by David Carradine, who's in Death Race 2000, which is my pick for movies you should watch that are bad. That was my number one, Death Race 2000, starring the brilliant David Carradine as Frankenstein. Yeah. This is a revenge plot. This is a revenge plot with mystery and action and honor. Honor and revenge go hand in hand. This is fantastic. These are great movies. Lots of action, lots of blood, lots of lots of entertainment. Favorite scenes? First of all, there's the cool walking scene. Yeah, anytime that's on the screen, and they use it a lot in a lot of other movies, that music and those cool walking scenes, oh, that's a great scene. And the entire fight scene, that's from Volume 1. And my personal favorite is the scenes with Sonny Chiba as Hattori Hanzo. Smaller scenes with him and Uma Thurman. He's the sword maker who's retired, who has to make a sword so the bride can go and kill Bill. And Sonny Chiba is a genius in that scene. It's just so good, and I'm in. I'm so in. I'm sitting there at the sushi bar with the two of them, watching them talk. Dialogue. Dialogue is everything for me, and the scenes with Sonny Chiba are amazing. Yeah. Number 3, Volume 1 and 2 from 2003 and 2004, Kill Bill. Number 2, 2 left. This is a birthday story. From 2019's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Starring, my goodness, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, who play Rick Dalton and Cliff Booth, two imaginary characters who never existed, parodying whether or not they are Burt Reynolds and Hal Needham. There's a famous actor and his famous buddy, stuntmen. Oh boy, why is this a birthday story? I'll tell you why I love this. It centers around and finishes off with the horrible events of August 9th, 1969, which are the Manson family murders, when Sharon Tate and her unborn child and 4 others are murdered. And it's the murder that sent Charles Manson to prison for the rest of his life, where he died. So, it happened on the morning of August 9th, 1969, and in Cambridge, Massachusetts, on August 9th, 1969, I was born. And I only bring that up because we used to get the newspaper every day at my house. And for the kids, you always flip to the back to see the funny papers, to read the comics, and the horoscope. And in the horoscope, always said, born on this date. So if you were born on this date, you could see what happened on the day you were born or on famous August 9th. And my date always said that. Sharon Tate was murdered by the Manson family. It's a terrible thing to have happen. So when this came out, I had to go see it. It is the second time for Quentin Tarantino, to my knowledge, where he alters history in a fantastic way. It's not as good as Killing Hitler. Nothing's going to beat that. But my goodness, my buddy saw it and said, go see it. The ending is everything. And boy, is he ever right. The ending to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is everything. It is my favorite scene, is the ending scene. I can watch it all the time, and I do. And I also love when Cliff Booth, Brad Pitt, goes to the Manson Ranch. It's very tense, and it's a long walk down a hall where he goes to see Bruce Dern. Bruce Dern is a crazy actor. Crazy good actor, and Bruce Dern's in this movie, and so are a lot of other people. Like I said, Quentin Tarantino's got his favorites, and they're all over the place. Yeah, number 2, 2019's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That leaves us with number 1. Number 1 because of its dialogue, because of its believability, and for some reason I can't stop watching Robert Forster and Pam Grier just have conversations on screen. Number 1 for me is Jackie Brown. I love Jackie Brown. I saw it in the theater when I first came to California in 1998. It was still in the theaters, and Jackie Brown followed Pulp Fiction. So I was expecting to have a Pulp Fiction kind of experience and didn't get it. I got I got other things. I got other emotions. I got other brilliant dialogue. And again, Robert Forster, who plays Max Cherry, and Pam Grier, who plays the lead Jackie Brown, any scene with the two of them talking is just so believable. It is a real life, it's real life dialogue from fake people. It is exactly the craft of acting and filmmaking you want to see. I just want to watch them talk. I just want to see those characters do what they do. I love Jackie Brown. It is number one with a bullet. I knew it would be number one. I love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Kill Bill, but Jackie Brown is number one. It is, again, a day in the life of some extraordinary people. Fake, extraordinary people. That's what you're watching. Number one, Jackie Brown. That'll do it for my top 9 list of Quentin Tarantino movies. Go ahead and put in the comments, again, what's your number one? And also, what's your last? What's dead last for you? I want your number one, and I want your last one. I'm really interested to read those things like that. I appreciate you joining me. Like and subscribe if you like this content. Hit that notification bell so you know when my stuff drops. It drops on Sunday. Yeah, I'm going to be doing my favorite movies from Steven Spielberg, Martin Scorsese, and some other directors as well. But I had to start off with Quentin Tarantino. Again, dialogue heavy. I love his dialogue. He's really a wonderful writer. Can't get enough of it. Can't get enough of it. So, till I see you next time, as always, peace, love, live long, and prosper. And I mean it.